What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sports Bets, but mostly chaos. I'm Craig.
Jonathan.
I'm Benny.
I'm Jason.
And in this show, we don't promise you necessarily winning bets, but we will promise you tons and tons of laughter through the chaos that we bring to your ears and eyes. Boys, it's episode 2. We didn't get canceled. I think that right there is it's a great accomplishment just altogether. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
I expected more out of you, Ben.
I thought we would get canceled just because seeing John's face. So I mean, hey, it's a win-win.
That's good. That's good. All right, well, guys, let's just jump right into things. Opening day, it's here, guys. We've had games going on this morning. We got games going on tonight. We're ready to go. I just want to know, how are you guys feeling? Are you guys pumped up like I am? Because I am just pumped up.
I got a question. Opening day is here, but why aren't we doing this live from the Coliseum right now? We need to talk to our sponsors.
That's actually a great question. I don't know. I think it might have been COVID protocol related that we probably, couldn't go there. Maybe next year they'll be ready for us.
Ben's hat.
Oh, Ben's hat. Okay.
Are you kidding me? I would have fit right in with the construction workers. We would have been having a grand old time together. Let's do this.
All right. Well, boys, the A's game, it's less than an hour away. First pitch, Chris Bassett on the mound against the Astros. I'm feeling pretty darn good about this one. And I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I think 162-0, it's extremely possible. I mean, not really, but how you guys feeling about at least tonight? I mean, they are facing Zach Greinke. He can be tough, but
their over-under that came into the season, what did you say, it was 82.5? That's way too low for them.
I think it's 86.5, depending on where you look. Yeah. But a lot of people are picking to go right around 500, that is just like Chapman said, it's absurd. I think it's almost insulting that they think that they're going to be.
It's a three-way battle, but I still think they're better than the A's, the Angels, and the Astros.
No, that's fair. I would totally agree with you on that. I know a lot of the, fan vote and a lot of some of the reporters are really all up on the Angels for some whatever reason. I mean,
don't hate the game.
That's for sure.
But boys, I really want to jump into something that we did kind of talk about a little bit in the last broadcast too, is about these guys, whether they're making the team or not. Starting at second base tonight, Jed Lowry. Unbelievable. I mean, that guy, how many at bats did he have in his years at the Mets? 2, if that. I mean, he was injured the entire time. Just quite a journey that guy's been on. And here he is in the opening day lineup, and he's probably going to get the share at second base, at least for the beginning of the season.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's going to
go ahead, Jay.
It's going to be Jed Lowry. And, when he's played with the A's, he's been pretty consistent hitter. Fielding's not too bad either, but it's going to be him and Pinder, I think, at second. Maybe platooning a little bit here and there, but I think top to bottom, their lineup's pretty solid. I don't think it's going to be the Angels too much. I think it's the Astros and the A's, but sorry, Ben. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to get going.
Yeah, I was a little surprised because, especially how bad Lowry was to be beginning of spring training, but yeah, he did come on strong at the end, and he deserved a roster spot. I kind of expected Kemp to get the start tonight, but they gave it to Lowry. I'm not complaining. I was a little bit more surprised of right field. It took me a little second. Wait, who's playing right field?
Yeah,
I'm yelling Pinder.
Yeah, Piscotty just did not have a good spring, and I'm like, who's getting the last outfield daily spot? And hey, maybe it's Pinder and maybe it's Pinder for his job to lose beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely potential, and kind of touching on what you were saying about Piscotty too. It sucks because I really like Piscotty, home run guy from Pleasanton, but he did struggle in the spring, and they also got Kai Tom, who really, he didn't really get going until I think it was the middle of spring when he really started playing. But he had a strong spring, and he made the roster too. So, I think Piscotty is going to get in there, but I think it's going to be tough for him to really get himself in that lineup, and which is it's unfortunate for him, but. All he can really do is make the best of the opportunities he does get in front of him when he does get in the lineup. And obviously it's not going to be tonight, but I'm assuming he'll probably get, a start probably, tomorrow or at some point this weekend, but yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if, how he plays into it.
What do you guys think of Mark Canna leading off for the A's tonight? Now that they lost Semien, they need a new leadoff hitter. I thought it would be Laureano because speed, but they gave it to Canna, which is surprising.
Yeah, no, really interesting. I know that they really were doing it during spring training. I think at the beginning they were kind of testing to see, who could be in that spot. And Canna became that leadoff hitter, really down the line, which is interesting because, he's known for having some power, but his power numbers were not really up there last year. So, if it works out, why not? I mean, it's to have a guy that can hit home runs in your leadoff is pretty good, especially knowing that you got guys right behind him that can hit the long ball too. I mean, give it a try. It may work well for the A's. We'll see how it plays out. What about you, Jay?
It's the money ball aspect. What does Mark Canna do? He gets on base.
Mm-hmm.
So if he gets on base at a 360, 370 clip, you're going to be doing pretty well for yourself. So yeah, I was surprised that it was Mark Canna. I would have probably thought it was Andrews, but let's just roll with it, see what happens.
Yeah, and I think they have Andrews batting in that 9 spot
tonight. So you can argue that that's actually their leadoff hitter, and that they want the bottom of the order to get set for the top of the order.
No, I agree.
A second leadoff guy.
Yeah. You guys have any maybe like just a little guess of who's gonna hit the first home run for the A's tonight? Any feel on that?
Can I get a witness?
Okay.
How about no?
Have some belief in your start off hitter.
Well, we got Greinke, and he's a reverse splits pitcher, so he does better against lefties, which is kind of surprising. So I'll just throw out the big name, Chapman.
Okay,
I'll go Wilson.
Wilson. All right. Well, there are other games tonight. I know the Giants do play the Mariners tonight. That's another game going on up in Seattle, and there is a game down in Southern California. I think it's the White Sox. Who are they playing again? Ben, do you know who the White Sox are playing? I can't remember. They don't seem very relevant.
You better watch your mouth.
Daddy, chill.
They're gonna sneak out a win tonight.
Okay, well, Ben, go ahead. Let me hear. Let us hear what you have to give us about the Angels tonight here as they get ready to open up against the White Sox.
I'm just going over the starting four for the pitching rotation just to get it going. I want to see what they can do before I kind of get into them, because off of spring training, they looked semi-decent, but it's spring training. I want to see what they look with a full team, top to bottom. So they're going to start off tonight with Bundy, and tomorrow they'll go Heaney, and then Cobb, and probable for Ohtani to start on Sunday. That is still up in the air. With those four starting, I'm hoping to see maybe 2 wins, hoping to stick to that. But with the White Sox being the White Sox, we'll see. And clearly there's zero belief in this Zoom chat. So I'm if I was a betting man. If I was a betting man, I would say put all your money on the White Sox to win 3 out of 4. But maybe see the offense of the Angels sneak out a game out of that as well to make it a 500. So at least they're not starting too far down the line. But I'll just wait and see what happens, and then kind of do a recap next week on what I was able to see.
Yeah, no, I think touching on. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Ben, so you said that you expect them at minimum to win 1 game.
Yes.
Which game would you guess? Do you think it would be Bundy, Heaney?
I would see maybe Heaney. I feel like tonight, Bundy. I feel like he has a possibility. That would be the sneaker, where the game they could try to get. Because I feel like everyone's excited for opening day. Everyone's gonna have their bats going, but it's it's gonna be a slugfest. So we'll wait and see what happens. But I would put my money on tomorrow that Heaney would be the recipient of the W.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think touching on a little bit off kind of what you're going into. I mean, if the Angels pitching is, mediocre realistically. Yeah. I mean, they have offense. They have offense though. They have bats in that lineup that they could win some games, and I think touching on what you're saying, I think if they're going to win, a couple of games in this series, it's going to probably come down to the offense and how much they produce. And obviously Ohtani is going to pitch on Sunday, more than likely. I think I heard this thing about how he's pitching possibly every Sunday this year, which we're just saying, I know he's kind of dealt with the injuries he's had to deal with since really coming here. and we'll see. We'll
That,
see how
that's
it
been
goes.
the biggest thing is just like we talked about in the first podcast is his health. Trout was just being, if it was going to be a waste of his talents, and then Otani, I felt like clearly, will he stay healthy? Just like any star athlete, can they stay healthy? Because you can't be a star athlete if you're inconsistently in the lineup due to health purposes. So he needs to have a good solid season of just no major surgeries or anything to really slow him down. He needs to be healthy for the entire year,
especially because it's not only his arm that the Angels are worried about; it's his hitting too. I mean, the guy has power too. That's if he goes out. If you lose him, you lose another guy. You lose another big bat out of your lineup. So that's the risky thing with Otani is, is like I said, you not only lose him on the mound, you lose him in the offense. So that could be obviously devastating to the Angels.
He's a double-edged sword for the team.
Yeah, so. The Angels really messed up a couple years back. Tawny's first season, letting him come back out and pitch in September.
Yeah,
that was not a good idea.
Yeah, that was too early.
He hasn't been the same since.
No, I agree.
All right, so let's. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
Really quick. I gotta ask something. Get off my chest. Are you a Mike Trout fan? Are you an Angels fan? And let me follow me on this. You're a Jared Goff fan. Went to Cal. I understand it. Went to the LA Rams. You went on and bought a nice hat. Whatever. He gets traded to the Lions. He gets traded to the Lions. Sorry for your loss, or your losses, I should say. I just want to know if you're just an Angels fan or a Mike Trout fan. If he gets traded, say, to the Red Sox, you're going to get a Red Sox jersey? What are you doing?
This is a very good, intelligent question from an older, experienced reporter like yourself, Jay. And this is definitely out of right field. Definitely out of right field, and I myself was not prepared for. But thankfully, I'm a quick thinker on my feet. And yes, I am a Mike Trout fan, but also an Angels fan. This season, I feel like a little bit of last season, I was able to kind of follow him a little bit more. This year, I want to really try to dive in more. Just like Corey Perry with the Ducks. I love Corey Perry, but wherever he goes, I'm going to follow, but I'm still going to love my Ducks.
You are one pathetic loser.
Fair enough. I just needed to know. I mean...
We've all been dying to know.
Jared Goff, though, I mean, rest in peace to his career. I mean, he's in Detroit, so that's a dead horse.
Hey, so speaking of opening day, did you guys catch what happened in the Dodgers game today?
Ooh, yes. I like this. Ooh. I like this one, John. No. Definitely let them know what happened here.
So Ben, there was a runner on, and Cody Bellinger hit a home run, and as he was, rounding the bases, he passed up Justin Turner on the base field. So he ended up only getting a solo home run out of it because they called Turner out.
That's a little league error right there. What are you doing, man? Pick up the guy if he's running slower. Pick him up and run with him. Jeez, what are you doing?
My team sucks.
Bush League. Send him down to LA.
Oh, okay. I guess that whole thing is playing.
I'm just saying.
Wow. Okay.
Whatever.
That's enjoyable. Okay.
Failure.
Technical error there.
Technical difficulties.
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what happened there. I think that was outside noise. But anyways, let's just move on.
Who's the producer?
Just forget all about that.
Producer should be fired. For sure.
Yeah, fire him. Anyways.
Hey, Greg, I got something really quick.
Okay.
On the A's, you opened up 4 games with the Astros, and then you followed up with 3 games against the Dodgers.
Oh yeah, absolutely tough. Yeah.
Right. I'd be happy if they're 4-3 after 7. To be honest.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
What's your take?
No, I would agree with that. Yeah, no, this is not to mention right after that they go to Houston for 3 also. So their first 10 games against the Astros and the Dodgers. So it's a good measuring stick too, just to kind of get a feel of where you're at. I mean, I'm not going to panic if they're 3-7. I mean, unless they look really bad. But yeah, no, it's a very, very tough, beginning of the season for sure. But
something that I like to notice is that besides last year, because last year they did start off really strong, but a lot of years the A's start off pretty slow. So if they're going to start off pretty slow again this year, at least have it against tougher competition. And then when they finally hit their stride on the back half of the season, like they always do, they have a weaker September schedule.
As long as they stay healthy.
Okay, Angels.
That's the health for everything. So
gotta eat right. Eat a salad.
All right. So
hey, speaking of healthy, AJ Puck made the team. Please stay healthy.
Yeah, that's all we can hope for. So that's another thing too, is that another thing, just a small touch on, is it looks like Cole Irvin's going to start out as number 5 starter. It looks like Jeffries is on the taxi squad. So it looks like Cole Irvin's going to get the first bid at that 5 spot. So, and he had a great spring, and might as well give him a shot, see how it goes. Not something that's going to stick. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes with that. So, but let's go into some.
Hold on, one quick thing. So, Jason, did you notice that another person who's old as dirt like you hit the first home run of the season?
I did. Miguel Cabrera in the snow.
Against Shane Bieber. Who would have freaking guessed that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not John, because he was out here in the morning saying Aaron Hicks is getting the first home run. So, throw that in the dumpster. With
I'm pretty sure I
else.
heard Cohooney say that's the week of lock the week.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to check the tape on that one. But anyways, so if you follow us on our socials, whether it's at Twitter or at Instagram, you will saw that Jason and I had some opening day bets that we had to make sure it got out there. Out in the open, it was known because, some of those games already have played out. So, Jason, why don't you just go ahead? We'll throw it over to you. Let us know how your bets have gone so far, as well as what you got left going on tonight.
Or not. I had the Yankees and the Jays under 7.5 runs, and that actually hit. I had the Padres and the Diamondbacks under 8.5, and that was toast. The Cubs did not show up. I had a 3-team parlay with the Cubs, the Mets, and the White Sox. The Cubs didn't show up today against Pittsburgh. The Mets got postponed against the Nationals due to COVID reasons, and the White Sox will be playing here in about a half hour. So kind of almost maybe a 500 day for me.
All right.
What about you, Craig?
Who would have expected the Cubs to come out so flat against the Pirates?
Yeah.
Like Hendricks
Yeah.
just looked awful.
It's opening day. You never know how it goes. But hey, the Pirates and the Rockies are 1-0 right now, tied for the best record in all of baseball. So
Hey,
that?
NL
What else
pennant,
can I add
here
on
we
that
come.
one? Yeah, so then my 4 bets I didn't specifically say to parlay this in any type of way. It just kind of felt how you were feeling about it. I parlayed it. So the one game that I had is I had the Padres over the Diamondbacks. That one hit. The Padres almost blew it. They were up 6-1 in the 5th inning. They have 4 home runs, including one to Tim LaCastro. And then Oakland A's fans know him. Stephen Vogt hit a bomb. Yu Darvish did not look very good, but thankfully Madison Bumgarner did not look very good either. So they got it done. Another A's guys that we all know, Emilio Pagan and Drew Pomeranz, they came in the 7th and the 8th. They looked pretty good. Mark Melanson closed the door, and the Padres were able to come out with the victory. I will take it. And then as we look to what we got going tonight, the other 3 games I have, we got the A's over the Astros. That one I feel pretty good about. I'm also taking the Giants over the Mariners. Yaz was the one guy I wasn't sure. I think got hit in the hand of that last spring training game. He was kind of day to day. He's in the lineup. I feel good. Kevin Gausman had a great year last year for the Giants. A little surprising. I don't think anyone saw it coming. I think he's going to pitch really good. Mariners, they ain't that good. Giants are going to win opening day tonight. And the other one we've kind of touched on a little bit too is the White Sox. They're going to beat the Angels. Lucas Giolito going to shut it down. And yeah, that's what I have going for the 4 bets. 1 down, 3 to go. And hopefully we're pulling it in tonight. So
Watch him just strike out for the final 3.
that would be
Check out Twitter and Instagram tonight for the results.
all
Hey
right.
guys, I got a question. I got a quick question. One bet
Yes.
for you.
Mm-hmm.
A futures bet. NL MVP Jacob DeGrom is at plus 6,900. That just seems like crazy value. I know it's a pitcher, but if he comes in and dominates and wins, say, 23 games and low ERA, he's going to have, at that crazy odds, $100 bet wins you 6,900.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
DeGrom,
I don't know.
Go ahead, Craig.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you want to throw $100 down on it.
No.
But you look at the reality of the fact that, if the Mets, have this big year, which, some people are anticipating them to do, they just were able to get Lindor to sign that huge contract. They have a decent team over there. If this team, comes out the gates hot and just like you said, if DeGrom has a good year, it's not out of question that he could win the NL MVP.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like a $20 bet brings you home $1,200. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you got it, might as well just throw it down, man.
Yeah, if you got it, then put it 4 $20 bets down for each of us. I mean, that's fine. That's all good, Jay. We
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yeah, throw it down for
So
everybody.
so DeGrom is the only pitcher in the NL that even has a chance at MVP. But like with pitchers, he would have to have like a 25 win,
Sure.
like under 3 ERA. Just he would have to be lights
mode.
out, better than everyone else.
Yep.
Which would also mean that Tatis, Betts, Bellinger would not have to have that. They would have to have sub.
Tatis or bust.
Oh my God.
Okay.
All right, let's just move along. So we got a little Warriors talk, but before we get into any of that, I do have a little surprise for all of you as well as everyone watching. Something came across, I was going through some stuff of last week's episode and I found something that really I'm just so glad that I did find it because it needs to be addressed. There's no way we can let this just
Is
get
it
by.
me forgetting to plug in my
We can just
computer in?
let's just go by. So you know what? Let's just all take a seat back. Let's just listen to the tape. We're gonna check the tape here on something that someone said on the show.
Tomorrow, Portland -11 against the Magic. They're gonna win by 20 plus. Because I don't know if you saw what the Magic did today, but they got rid of everyone. Nikolai Vucic, bye. Aaron Gordon, bye. Evan Fournier, bye. Terrence Ross. Oh, I guess you're the captain now. I'm sorry.
So I don't know if you happen to see the final score of that game, but it wasn't even by 20. It was 11. I think that game was by like 5. So, John, I think you
Did you also go to see that Damian Lillard did not play that game? When I made the bet, I expected Damian Lillard to play.
Well,
not
that's
much I
really
can do.
unfortunate because
It's
you sound
like
pretty confident.
it's like injuries.
So
All I'm hearing
Oh,
is
I was
excuses.
really
think-
confident.
I
And
think
yes,
you might have
that
been.
bet can rest in
Rest in peace.
All right, well, now that we've got that out of the way, Jason,
Ed,
John,
will you stop doing that?
Jason, and John, please take it away as we move on from that
Go ahead,
idiotic take. What's going on with the Warriors?
Well, currently the Warriors are playing the Miami Heat, and they're up by 2 in the third quarter. They had a not so good week. They had some bad losses versus the Kings and the Hawks that they should have won. They're beatable teams. Such a bad week that Curry was supposed to be out on Monday against the Bulls, and I think he pulled the card and said, "I need to get back." Came in, played against the Bulls. The Warriors won. He scores 32, like he wakes up out of bed every morning. And I think there's reports now that they're going to start doing more pick and roll with him and James Wiseman, which is good. Currently, they're sitting tied for 9th, and they're scheduled to play Memphis if the playoffs started today. The record's 23-24. The week ahead, they're playing the Heat currently right now. They're at the Raptors, at the Hawks, and then they come home and play the Bucks. Realistically, 2-2. I'd be ecstatic if they go 3-1. This is crunch time. It's time to go, and they need to string. I mean, they haven't won more than I think 3 in a row this year. They need to go on like a 4 or 5 game win streak, maybe separate themselves from the 9 and 10 seed. You have Curry back now. He's not going to be 100% probably for a little while, but him at 90% is better than most of the league.
So Jason, I have to disagree with the take that they were supposed to win those 2 games because even the betting odds with no Curry, they were almost 10 point, almost a 10. No, they were almost a 10-point underdog against the Hawks, and then against the Kings, it was like a 3 or 4.5 spread. But yeah, I didn't expect them to lose both. I thought they still, even without Curry, could win. But you gotta remember, like, unfortunately, Wiggins, Oubre, they're threes at best. And, they don't have the 2 anymore. Okay. I don't know how that works, but okay.
Just give him a minute.
Continue.
He'll come back. He'll come back.
You can do it!
You're an asshole. So
No, I think if my point was if you're gonna be a playoff team without Curry, you still have Draymond, you still got Wiggins will give you 15 a night. Oubre should give you 15 a night. Jordan Poole's coming to his own. I think the Kings and Hawks are very winnable games, regardless of what Vegas says.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you watch the Kings that much, man. They still got Fox. They got Barnes. They got Holmes. Holmes destroyed Wiseman, unfortunately. Like Holmes had a huge game. Hallie's really good. I cannot believe he fell to the Kings. Like he should have gone to Detroit at the latest. Like so many dumb. Like really, you're gonna take Okora, Obi Toppin, Kelvin Hayes over Hallie? Like I don't know what these teams were thinking.
It just goes to show you that any draft is a crapshoot. I mean, you can scout all you want, but
it looks like there's only 4 solid players from this draft: LaMelo, Edwards, Wiseman, and Hallie. I mean, other than that, maybe Hayes when he comes back to Detroit, maybe because he did show some promise.
Maybe
Cole Anthony, maybe when he comes back to Orlando, but he doesn't play. He's too short. He doesn't play any defense.
Right. No, and to go on back on Kelly Oubre, after the trade deadline, he was the Warrior that was most rumored to be traded because of his pending free agency. And then the game after, he was pretty much grilled about, like, would you be open to coming back? And if you were to come back, would you be open to being a 6-man? And he kind of said, no, I feel like I'm still a starter and I want to be a starter, which is the right mentality. But maybe they can convince him to take that Andre Iguodala role where he was a starter all his career. And we saw how that turned out. I understand.
I see. This is the tough part. I see Oubre as a small forward. I don't see Wiggins as a small forward. I would prefer to have Wiggins come off the bench for Clay. Like let Wiggins be the first man off the bench with the second group and lead the second group. Right. In the second quarter, when because Curry and Draymond, they play the whole 12 minutes. So then have Wiggins and Clay come out and just do it that way, because Oubre is the more natural 3, while Wiggins is a natural 2.
Yeah, that's true. And that's even if Oubre comes back next year at a
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
I don't. Lakeup's not going to pay the extra luxury fee that he did this year. What did he get him? The 9, the 10. He's not going to pay that extra $23 million that it took to get Oubre.
Yeah, I've read reports that if they sign him for, like, say, $18 million, that turns into, I think, $80 million with the tax bill. So they should have traded Wiggins. Wiggins should have been the one that they were looking to trade, because they're paying him $27 million a year. Nobody's gonna take that contract.
I agree. He's the Martin Jones contract of the Warriors.
Nobody's taking that contract.
No.
Nice.
It's unfortunate.
Plug that in there.
Slid it in there.
All right.
No, but that's about all the Warriors talk I have currently. Like I said, they're playing the Heat.
They're fighting. They're fighting with Memphis for that last play-in spot. We'll see in a week or two how they're doing.
You guys, either you guys have any NBA bets? John, do you have a redemption then after that horrible take you had last week or anything like that?
Run that guy.
Oh, you guys suck.
You know what? Before the season started, I have the text to prove it. I was debating between taking Damian Lillard as an MVP at plus 1,500, and if the season ended today, he's in the top 3, I think, for sure, and maybe even win it. But
not even close, dude.
Cahoon says otherwise in the blue corner.
Cahoon,
not even close.
Can't do it.
You have this MVP.
Dude, it's Joker by a runaway mile because of Embiid and LeBron's injury.
Denver's not a 1 seed.
Dude.
Mark the tape.
Damian also has missed. What?
Mark the tape. I bet you Lillard finishes higher than Jokic.
Oh no.
Daddy, chill.
All right. What was that, Craig?
What?
Blood is boiling here, folks.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's transition.
I would do Westbrook has a better shot than Damian Lillard.
All right, you can leave.
What?
You can leave.
He's on drugs.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's transition to a little something, maybe not sports full on related. Ben has a little bit of a story he'd like to share with everyone. So, with that, Ben, the floor is yours.
Not sports. This is hardcore competition right here. I don't know. You guys will love this. For those of you who have been to the Floco residence in Livermore, you know that they have a bocce ball court in the back, and those games can get heated. And well, folks, I was given the most amazing opportunity to be the center line judge for a bocce ball at the Floco's house. You want to talk about competitive? Watch Art, also known as Phil, which is Allison and David's dad, team up with his son David, who is also the Abercrombie model in my eyes. Verse Katie, the queen of patience, which is my wife, and Allison, the daughter, the whip butts and take names later Agon. Crack open a cold one, because this was a battle to behold. All right. Oh man, the last 3 Super Bowls cannot even match this competitive nature. All right. I think David thought it was going to be a little bit easier than it came down to, taking on the ladies in this rival match. The ladies were on something else when it came to their tosses. So accurate. They would always have at least one ball 4 inches away from the Polina, which is the white little ball. Jason, you know about those. Art definitely carried his team as long as he could with the help from David, but David was more of a psychological warfare kind of player. He did what he could to throw off the ladies with some mind games and shit talking, but it showed to be too little. David, midway through the match, tossed a softball that barely made it halfway and clearly 25 plus feet away from being even relevant.
So like your softball hits.
Oh,
Noted. Art then had a major sigh and wasn't too pleased by his son's poor toss. But Lily, his loving wife, was on the sidelines, shows David support. It's okay, sweetie. It wasn't okay. But you could tell it was a hollowed out comment as she was looking at her phone during. If they had received the Bocce Ball MVP award in time from Amazon, it would without a doubt have to go to Art. I mean, that guy showed why it's his house. He made some insane curves, some insane tosses that came in clutch. But again, he was teamed up with David, so David kind of hurt his team. It came down to the final toss to make the victory or loss to allow it to keep going. It was thrown. Oh boy, this was it's just so bad because it was so bad. Oh, sorry. But in the end, the ladies came out on top 16-14. And it actually was Katie coming up with some very clutch throws where she actually would hit the Polina clear as day and roll with it all the way down and made it practically impossible for the guys to match. After the game had been finished, David looked very defeated. Art was a man of few words, but said, "Good game," and high-fived both the ladies. Katie was jumping for joy because she was so happy to roll into another W, going undefeated for the day, with her partner Allison, who had some choice words for her brother, which I cannot repeat on air due to censoring. David, though, as he took his little lonely stroll off the court, had his wife meet him there and give him a big hug and say, "You're still the winner in my book."
Oh, brother.
Oh, the next time these guys go out for a rematch, I'm hoping that COVID will not be in play, so that way we can get more people out there to witness this amazing match and duel. And then maybe, we could all team up and I could whoop your guys' ass, especially you, old timer.
What? You can't whoop nothing, dude.
Don't push it. I could push you in a wheelchair. Heyo. But at the end of the day, these are 4 people going to be in the Bocce Ball Hall of Fame. You mark my words. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so where's the cricket soundbite?
Anyways,
used it.
I did. I will say though, just about the story in general, I really felt like I was like listening to an audiobook. Like it was just like, just the way you worded everything. It sounds like you've been working on it for like probably the last like 6 years. The way it's been prepped up.
Oh, roasted.
So I mean, I'll give you that. I honestly don't even
spend 6 years on it and it's still going to come out perfect.
Yeah.
It's still going to sound like you at the beginning of our first podcast. Shit.
But
all right. Well, we still got hockey going on, guys. Let's talk about dive into a little bit of what's going on with the Sharks. We'll talk about the Ducks a little bit too. Eventually we'll get there. But we kind of do. But really quickly, Ben, you and I had some bets this weekend or this past weekend. We should probably dive into that, as much as it kind of pains me to really bring them back up. But let's just kick it off to you. You can start it off with how you did last weekend.
I didn't know we were qualifying mine as bets. I thought they were just free losses. Yeah, I started off real strong. No, I went 4-10 for the weekend. I had made those bets 3 weeks ago, looking at the schedule, just going off of how I felt at the time.
Right.
Should have probably done a revised schedule, but my reverse jinx did work. The Ducks somehow got some wins, and those Sharks did not get those W's. And I think everyone went home happy.
Not even close.
All right. Well, yeah. So my 2 bets that I had the Sharks plus 1.5. I said I thought I liked their chances of winning, but just play it safe. Don't go crazy. Take the Sharks plus 1.5. And that was absolutely pitiful. I thought Friday, that game was one of their just effortless, like just one of the least efforted games I've seen them probably play in this whole season. And it was just ugly to watch. And I also had them just money line in the second period, which they were 1 minute and 16 seconds away from winning. But of course, they gave up a goal. That all went down the drain. I was 0 for 2, which, yeah, it was really painful. It wasn't
You've
a great.
Clearly never seen Mighty Ducks 3 then. How fast does it take, or how much time do you need for a goal to score? Less than a second. Boom.
Yeah. So just really sad. But yeah, so 0 for 2 on my end. Didn't go. And yeah, we both didn't do really well. But that's enough at that.
We're looking to go out strong this week. All right, folks?
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go into a little bit of the most recent game. So, the Sharks, they went Friday, Saturday. They were awful. They did play Minnesota both Monday and Wednesday. They ended up winning both of those games. A little bit of a shocker. So now they're sitting at 34 points, 15, 16, and 4. And I have to keep reading this off the paper because I almost don't believe it. They're only 4 points behind St. Louis for that last playoff spot, which
Hey, you like them apples?
which I have my feelings about this, but I really want to just throw it out to you guys. 4 points out of a playoff spot. I mean, are we serious?
Well, no, but they do have 7 games coming up against the Ducks and the Kings. So
That's very true.
Free wins. What's up?
Maybe, but just to see them get motorboated in the first round, no, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
What
one.
now?
The Sharks are going to be the team. They'll be the team like the Detroit Pistons. They'll somehow sneak into the playoffs and they'll get swept out.
I'm sorry. Let's go back. Why is motorboating a negative? I'm a little confused here.
Yeah. Wrong podcast.
Okay, yeah, wrong.
Yeah.
Run that guy.
Yeah. Well, My feel about it is, and it's you guys kind of both touched on it, like even if this team, because like you said, Jay, the next 7 games they have is against the Kings and the Ducks. I think they're a pretty even kill team when it comes to the Kings. I think we've seen enough to know the Sharks are not a big step, but they are a step above the Ducks with where they're at right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe they can put them together. And like I did mention in the last podcast, the Blues have a very tough schedule down the road. And the Blues had 2 games against the Ducks on Fridays and Saturday. Those are 2 games that they needed to get like at least 3 points. They got 1. They got 1 point against the Ducks. They can't do that. They can't afford to lose. They can't afford to lose games against the Ducks like that. So yeah, the Blues might be in trouble. If it's not the Sharks to catch them, I mean, Arizona is right there too. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I did not think the Blues were going to be that team that was on that bubble, but Minnesota has, really been able to establish themselves as a pretty good team this year. They didn't have Matt Zuccarello at the start, and once they got him, they started really getting together. Kirill Kaprizov, sorry, I want to say Capri's son because that's what it reminds me of. I mean, that guy has been playing out of his mind in his rookie year. Impressive. But
Who's got the orange slices?
But again, going back to, if the Sharks do somehow find a way in the playoff spot, I don't care if the Sharks win the last 10 games of the regular season. They're going to play. If they make the playoffs, they're playing against Colorado or they're playing against Vegas. And I'm telling you, they're not on that level that either of those teams are. I'm not going to go out of the way and say they're going to get swept, but 5 games, yeah, that's probably more likely what's going to happen. So I don't, if they get there, yeah, I'll cheer for it. I'll watch it. But man, I don't know if I really want to see them go. And then also mention they'll also have a way too high, way too low of a draft pick for next year. And yeah, I don't know if I want to see that necessarily, but
well, they've already gotten to the point where I don't think they're going to have a top lottery pick, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to be the top pick.
They're going to have to get lucky like the Rangers did somehow getting the one last year.
Yeah.
That was such.
But even with them getting him, that wasn't even a big pan. That guy hasn't blossomed into anything. Him and Hughes being number 1 overall picks, they haven't developed into anything that they should be.
Has there even been a number 1 pick since McDavid that's been good? What was the Islanders? That was the Islanders captain right now. Was he a number 1 pick or was he a little later? No, wait, is Lee the captain?
I think so.
Oh yeah, he probably is a captain. Who's
I don't know.
center?
Maybe we should do Captain My Captain again.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not good at that kind of stuff. So you could go, yeah.
I think
I just need to learn how to answer it in a question. I'd be better than you.
Yeah.
How about you? Answer, John, too.
Yeah. I will say though, looking at these last 2 games, like I kind of talked about a little bit about those 2 games against Arizona, I really thought that in those 2 games they had like one good period. I wasn't ecstatic with the way they played on Friday. They came out Saturday in the first period and it was like, okay, they got some jumps to their game. They want a response, but then after that, it was just flat. And that's really bad, especially because, again, they had all this confidence. They beat LA those 2 games, like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna put something together. And then they looked flat. So, then comes the Minnesota, who had won 8 of their last 10 games with their only 2 losses against the Avs, which was those games were not pretty on their end, but they were playing pretty well. And for the Sharks to find a way to win 2 games in this little 2-game set with a team that's pretty good in the Wild, I was impressed by that. The fact that, I watched, again, sort of like last week, I watched more of the game Monday than I did with Wednesday's game. But, looking back at last night's game, it kind of seemed like the Sharks had more opportunities to put more pucks in the net than they did. And whether it was, a save by Kokkonen that kept, the Sharks from scoring more, or it was something the Sharks did that blundered, I was still impressed. I think, if you're going to give the Sharks some kudos for something, I will give them kudos. They did play well in these 2 games, which is good. You'd want to see them, compete and do well against teams like Minnesota, teams that we are pretty certain are going to be playing in the playoffs, somewhere we don't really think the Sharks are going to be. But I think in general, that was good. So a couple of things I would touch on. Erik Karlsson, super hot or cold. We've been seeing it for years. I thought he had a very good couple games. He had an opportunity to score another goal last night as well. He was all by himself. I think a pass came from behind the blue line, or sorry, behind the goal line. And Cohooney made a great save on him there. So, and Carlson still found a way to have 3 points, and not to mention the post game interview with the Apple was just the highlight of the cream of the crop of that entire night. I'm still laughing inside from some of the questions that got asked on there. But another thing too, I think coming off of it, something I also gathered is that I think when you see games like this that the Sharks just played, I think you start to see some of those young guys that are starting to get a feel for the game now at this level, that are starting to establish themselves of like, okay, you know what, these are the guys you want to see, you know, that young core you want to see on this team whenever the Sharks become, you know, a sort of a juggernaut again, where, you know, because it was just a few years ago, remember, it was the Shark Tank was one of the most difficult buildings to go play against, but now it's like it's like almost like a cakewalk for a lot of these teams to come in here. It's nowhere near the same.
There's no fans, so
But
it's
even
not
before
even
this
close
year,
to
you
as
look at the
fun.
last couple of years, they're not as dominant as a team at home. And I think the record this year, they're better on the road than they're at home. But two guys I do want to highlight: Rudolph Spausers. He scored another goal last night. He, you know, I'm not saying he's going to be a guy that's, you know, in a couple of years he's going to be like a 30 goal scorer or anything like that, but I think he has the true potential of being a possible, you know, top like second line guy. It's kind of crazy how it worked out. I mean, he was traded to Ottawa for Erik Karlsson. Ottawa ended up essentially letting him go. The Sharks got him back, and I think the Sharks are pretty happy that they were able to get him. And Nikolai Knizhov, the defenseman, he finally scored his first National Hockey League goal last night. Kudos to him. He's just been a young guy. He's been in the lineup, I think, from the season start, and I think the Sharks are happy with him. And that's another guy. Like those two guys,
Yeah.
I think you get the feel that
Kuznetsov is he's gonna be the next Vlasic. He'll score one, 2 goals a season, but he'll be that shutdown defense. He's so good. I can't wait to see more out of that guy.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely impressed. Like I said, so with Balsers and Knizhov, those are, I think you see them play like they did in these 2 games against, you know, a good team. I think you're starting to look at them and say, okay, you know what, these are the guys we want to see on this team, and they're hopefully going to be part of this, you know, franchise whenever it kind of turns around again to being, you know, a juggernaut, like I had said. So I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to add on to that, or if there's
I'm going to add on one.
games.
I'm going to add on one thing. You called me out on the Portland thing. Well, I was perfectly on point when it came to what teams I do not like to watch the Sharks play. And I remember last week I said I hate watching them play the Coyotes. It's annoying. The Coyotes and the Blues are the 2 teams that they need to be beating if they want to be a playoff team. And what do? They get steamrolled by the Coyotes. And it's just annoying. It's like they look like they didn't even want to be there. So I was perfectly on point when it came to that, unfortunately.
Congratulations. Is that what you wanted? Just some applause? Is that what you're looking for? Because there you
Do we owe
go.
him a beer or something now? What?
Yeah,
Oh, he's got some beer.
He's got beer.
I remember
Do we owe him beer?
my first
no.
correct hot take, but anyways,
When was that? When was that?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Every one of us, all our bets were really awful last week.
Yeah. Anyways, there's another thing we got to talk about. Ben, I believe you have a Ducks report that you probably want to get out. So why don't you tell us what's going on with the Ducks?
Well, they had 3 games, 2 games set against the Blues and a game against the Avs. And surprisingly, unfortunately, I got the Ducks game incorrect because I was unaware that Gibson actually did come back that game on the 26th against the Blues. He had probably one of his best starts he's had in a long time after a good amount of time away. He actually took a 4-1 win. But unfortunately, in that game, Drysdale, a young defensive prospect, he fell awkwardly and got steamrolled by a guy on accident, left with what probably was concussion protocol. But apparently he came back and was fine for the next game, or maybe it was the game after, actually, against the Avs. But I know he played, and he actually had a quick turnaround, which was good. But they keep scratching Zegras because he needs to play under 27 games so he doesn't burn a year of his rookie contract. So they have to.
I always hated those things.
Yeah.
It's like the MLB
That's
rule.
weird.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Chris Bryant with the Cubs, and then Wander Franco with the Rays this year. It's such BS.
Such dumb. So
It's
dumb.
creating a lot of controversy where people think that he should be going down to the minors, playing, getting some time, which I agree. Fans wanted him to get called up. He got his first NHL goal, great, but the guy isn't going to develop by getting scratched, by not playing in NHL games, by not having good NHL games altogether because the team's just not consistent.
It's kind of dumb because the Ducks aren't going anywhere. So why don't they
Yeah.
play him? But obviously, it's because they want to keep him for the extra season.
Exactly.
I hate that stuff so bad.
No, exactly. I'm not a big fan of it either, but the rules are there, so they have to kind of balance it out. And so then the next game they played against the Blues again on the 28th. Stolarz got the start because, shockingly enough, Gibson apparently got hurt again at some point. And I believe it was a lower body injury this time. So he was out. So Stolarz actually got his first win as a Duck finally. And it was a 2-0 comeback and won in overtime. But we won't really need to get into the back-to-back against the Avs. They lost 5-2, 48-15 in shots. It wasn't very close. All I can say is with a team like that, with the Avalanche, I just hope they win the cup because they're just ridiculous. So, I mean, just make it a little less painful to get steamrolled by those guys continuously because those guys are just something else. I mean,
I honestly wouldn't mind seeing the Avalanche win the cup of all the teams. The Sharks.
Sure.
That would probably be my team too. I would.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely want
Anyone
to
but
see them beat Vegas.
anyone but Vegas.
Yep,
I would love to
anybody
see
but
them beat
Vegas.
Vegas. So.
Oh, I'd like to see Vegas win a cup too. That'd be cool. I mean, that was fine.
You can
Run that guy.
But they got 2 wins, but unfortunately at what cost? Because Gibson's day-to-day. Ricard Raquel also got hit awkwardly when he was skating backwards and fell on his back. Drysdale was a question mark for a minute there. And then Zegras keeps getting scratched. So it's they're getting wins, but every time they get a win, someone seems to get hurt. So it's just not even worth it at this point to get wins. Just stay healthy and just survive the damn season.
So it's like you're losing even when you're winning, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kind of the same way you could think about the Sharks this year. It's like, even if they make the playoffs, they're not going to go anywhere. So are they actually winning when they win?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got some bets. Ben, I know you got some more games looking for redemption. I myself am looking for some redemption. I have a couple too. So Ben, going to start us off. What do you got for this weekend for the NHL?
Well, for Friday, I have the Capitals over the Devils. They are 5-0 against the Devils. The Avs over the Blues. The Blues are a struggling team. And as long as Jones is starting, I say Sharks over Kings. For Saturday, I will say that Bolts will handle the Wings. The Bolts need to kind of get back into their powerhouse mode. And I think the Rings are the team to do it. The Rangers over the Sabres because the Sabres just got their win finally, so they're good for another month. Vegas over Wild will be tight, but I think that the Knights will pull this one off. And Sunday, I will say the Bolts over the Wings again, even with a back-to-back. I think they will take care of it. I think the Jets over the Canucks. The Jets have just been fast-paced all season. Just no one's really being able to match them when they're actually getting their feet moving. And I will say Ducks over the Coyotes.
Whoa.
But that's only because I think on Friday they're going to get worked. So look for the Ducks to play a very solid game on Sunday.
Wow. All right. Not bad. All right. So a couple that I have. Oh, this was tough. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know if I really wanted to even put anything down for this game, but I'm going to. I have a couple that I come with. We're going to roll the Sharks plus 1.5 again. And it's mostly the same way as last week. I mean, Ben picked them. What game you picked them to win? You picked the Sharks win Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, so they're definitely losing that game with your reverse jinx that you like to do.
No, I'm sorry. I picked them for Friday. I apologize.
Okay,
For
so
Friday.
yeah, so then the Sharks are for sure losing tomorrow because of Ben's reverse jinx that he loves to do. So I'm just hoping, look, Martin Jones hopefully gets the start. He puts in his best work against the Kings. Hopefully he keeps it close. Maybe it'll go to like a shootout. They'll just lose by 1. Sharks plus 1.5. It's minus 215. I think that's a safe way to go. The other one, I don't really feel that great about this one, but if you just want to throw another bet down just because you're feeling lucky, whatever you got going on, I would actually play the under and 5.5 total goals tomorrow. It's a plus 105. Look, like I'd mentioned, Jones puts up great work against the Kings. I'm hoping they maybe keep it down to maybe 2 goals, which I haven't said it yet, but I just want to make this really clear. As well as Martin Jones has been playing as of late, I don't make it this very abundantly clear. Mark the tape, whatever you want to do. Martin Jones will not post another shutout as long as he's a Shark. He's not going to get another one. I mean, he's getting so close. He gets like the third period, then he gives up a goal, which whether or not it's his fault or not, I'm just making it clear. He's never going to get a shutout again as long as he's in black and teal. That's for sure.
Shout out tomorrow night. On the
That always,
Maybe.
that always did seem to be always the Sharks' Achilles heel. Like they would be like 2 or 3 minutes away from a shutout, and then out of nowhere, boom, goal.
Yeah. So, and the other thing I like too.
Happened in the end all the time.
Yeah, and then the thing too, the Kings, there hasn't been a lot of goals in their game. They have reached 6 goals a couple of times, but they haven't had any games of over 6 goals in total since March the 8th. So for the most part, they've been playing low scoring games. I'm hoping for like a 3-2, maybe Sharks win, or at least if anything, a 3-2 Kings win. Just don't lose by more. Don't be losing by 3 or 4 Sharks. That's all I'm asking for you for that one. So but that concludes my Sharks bets for tomorrow night against the Kings.
Well, I'm going to scooch on over then real quick to some trades and some potential trades just to hear your guys' insight on it. All right.
Okay.
So Montreal just recently, last week on Friday, the 26th, they made a trade for their 3rd and 5th round 2021 draft pick for Eric Stahl to get him out of Buffalo. I found out that Buffalo also retains half of his salary, which is 3.25 mil off of a 6.5 mil 2-year contract. I'm on board with it. I think it was a good time thing, especially because Montreal was on a COVID protocol break. So they actually are only going to play 2 games without him because Canada reduced the thing to 14 to 7 days when you ship up. And so I think that's actually really huge, and it actually benefits them in a lot of ways. But also I'm for it because it's another step closer for Perry to get another cup. So what do you guys think about that trade?
Good Lord. It's hard to even like think back to what the question was because
I was completely like about to start talking, and then you said that, and now I have no.
I don't even know if I have an opinion. I don't even have an opinion on any of this that you just said. Okay. I just know
something I didn't even think about.
I just know the Sabres aren't very good and they suck. So I don't know what else to tell you.
Something I didn't even think about when it comes to trade deadline this year is, are Canadian teams allowed to trade with the rest of the NHL because of the COVID protocol? That's kind of interesting.
Teams are allowed to trade, but you have to wait 7 days, like isolated, before you can play with your team. So it's kind of a gamble where you have to wait for your player to get off of the restriction list to come over and play. So it's
kind of funky. I didn't even think about it until now that you started talking about that. I'm like, wait, how are they supposed to trade?
No, exactly. It's the same thing. It's just you have a little bit of a waiting period. But moving on from that question, because apparently you guys are done with that one. What
lost us a Perry.
What would you think about Marleau being on the move again? Possibly to Carolina, the Oilers, the Islanders, the Penguins, or even the Knights. I'd be cool with him playing in Carolina because he kind of gave them false hope last time. But I'd also say maybe the Knights. That'd be cool.
No,
he'd be local.
No.
Please no.
Look, as a whole, yeah, seriously, freaking
run that guy.
I think as a whole, look, I've said it before. I love Marleau and everything. I don't think he has a lot left in the tank. I think he has taken a noticeable step back this year. He's not producing offensively. Oh, by the way, did you guys notice he scored another goal on Friday, which was all because Hill made a terrible play, and go figure. Look, I think about mostly the record. He's going to catch Gordie Howe this season, assuming nothing crazy happens. Yep. You want him to do that in a Shark sweater. You absolutely do. That's the ultimate goal. You want to, it's not the ultimate goal. You'd want the Sharks to be competing. You want to be in the top team. And they wouldn't be in question right now whether or not is he going to be on the team? Is he going to be somewhere else? You'd want him here. You would not want to have any doubt about it. But sadly, this is where we are. I'd absolutely love it. I don't know if Marleau would ever admit to it, but he'd probably deep down, he probably would want to do it in a Shark sweater as well. But Marleau will also tell you that the ultimate goal is to win the Stanley Cup. Sure. And that's the one thing that's that's one thing he hasn't accomplished. I mean, he's 41 years old. He doesn't have a lot left. Yes, selfishly, I don't want to see him do it in the Shark sweater, but I want to see him win a Stanley Cup before he's done. I mean, he deserves it, period. And so ultimately, to answer your question, Ben, I'm okay with Marlowe being moved. As much as I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it would kind of hurt a little bit to see Marlowe raise the cup and he's not wearing a Shark sweater. I mean, it's gonna hurt a little bit because I would always go, man, that should have been with the Sharks. Unfortunately, to get it done. I don't know if he's going to be on a Sharks team, whether in the next couple of years that's going to have a legitimate chance to do that. So, but like I said, answering your question, ultimately, yes, I'm okay with the Sharks moving Marlowe if it gives them a chance to potentially raise the Stanley Cup this year.
Okay. What about you?
So like, I feel Doug Wilson, with him being on the hot seat, in my opinion, he's on the hot seat. Maybe he's not. Why would you trade Marlowe for third, fourth, fifth round pick that you could possibly use when you might not ever actually use that pick? Personally, over seeing Marlowe break the record as a Shark, and just the fact that Doug Wilson is, in my opinion, on the hot seat. What does Marlowe being traded do for this season? I don't see it. If you're going to trade him, it's for futures. Get a future pick. Hopefully that guy turns into something. But when it comes to this year, if Doug Wilson is on the hot seat and he wants to win, what does trading Marlowe do? Because you're not going to get anyone valuable for this season back.
What if it's Patrick Marlowe going to Doug Wilson saying, I want to try to win a cup?
Yeah. Because I mean, we don't know the full details, but the whole thing, there were some, ruffles and the feathers about Joe Thornton last year. He didn't get dealt. The talk was that Joe Thornton was not very happy about it. He left and he signed with Toronto. He's playing it with the Maple Leafs, and they have a legit chance to win the Stanley Cup this year. They'll probably lose to the Bruins in the first round in 7 games, like they always do. But
that's neither.
I mean, that's one thing. Yeah, that's neither here nor there, but that is something to think about. Marlowe, I mean, these guys are going to say everything. They're going to say the right things. They're not going to really tell us how they truly feel. They're spending a lot of time on these pre and post games about, are you okay? The Sharks moving him. It's kind of like, dude, we've been in this exact same spot. The whole thing is we trade him. He goes play somewhere else. And then he comes and signs another 1-year deal next year. I don't know if that's going to happen because like I had been saying, I don't know how much this guy has left. I mean, I think he said he wants to play a few more years, but I mean, at what point do you look at your game and say, wow, I mean, I want to keep playing, but hey, I don't know if I'm with this game anymore. I don't know if I can keep up with it.
The mental is there, but the physical isn't anymore. And he's not keeping up. But yeah, no, that's a good question. I just wanted to see where you guys felt about that because I had heard that rumor. There's also the rumor of now hypothetically, what if Jonathan Quick was traded for Frederik Andersen straight up?
Yeah, they're both past their prime. And honestly, I have not paid too much attention to how Frederik Andersen's done this year.
Same.
But Jonathan Quick, he's just not that number one, solid goaltender in my opinion. So what's the boost? I feel like they're the exact same people. I feel like they cancel each other out. So why trade for Jonathan Quick when you basically have Jonathan Quick in Toronto already?
Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, yeah, I haven't really seen enough. I haven't really watching enough Maple Leafs games to know how Freddie Anderson's been doing. But I agree with John 100%. I think Jonathan Quick is a guy who's out of their prime. He's not. I don't think he's even getting most of the share of the starts. I know Cal Peterson's been getting a good chunk of starts with the Kings too. So
he's been doing really well for them.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know exactly kind of what John said. I don't know what you're gaining for either team. I don't know what you're gaining by making that trade.
Seems like a wash.
Yeah, seems like a wash. No, that's fair. That's fair. But real quick, just some names to name off here. And I want you guys to feel like I'm going to name off some players, and I want you guys to say yes or no to yes, the Sharks should go for someone like that, or no, pass. All right. The Buffalo Sabres are looking to get rid of a lot of big names.
Staples. Okay.
Yep, it's we got that. Taylor Hall is on a 1-year, $8 million deal right now.
That's a pass for me. It seems
hard
like
pass.
it sounds like he's just not a great guy to have in the locker room.
He's
I'm
the
passing.
cancer in the locker room, so you got to pass.
Pass.
Okay.
Pass.
Jack Eichel, 8-year. He has 4 more years on an $80 million contract.
Well, they already can't pay him that much, so
Yeah.
Can we
I-
trade
That
him
would-
for
that
Jimmy
would-
straight up?
You could, yeah, you could
That's
trade.
just, I think
Make
that's
some
just
You
Pass.
would have to give up like Hurdle, Kane, a couple
No
of
thanks.
people,
No.
and I'm like, no.
No.
I mean,
No,
Eichel's
I'm
amazing,
good.
but I don't.
Not
see a
for
way
what
that
you'd
we're
have to
gonna
give
trade
up.
Yeah.
No, not worth it.
Ristolainen, 32 mil. He's on the last 2 years of his contract right now.
I'm not sure on that.
I would love to have Ristolainen because we do need that really good defenseman, but once again, like we're just in cap hell. Like
Okay.
there's no way we're paying another defenseman 13 mil. Like
True.
I would love to have him, but it's we all have Carlson and Burns. We're already paying too much. So
Okay. Well, the last one is actually second to last would be Jeff Skinner, who is has 6 years left on a $72 million contract left.
Pass.
And then,
Yes.
but Brandon Montour, 1 year, $3.85 million.
He's got duck blood in him. Pass.
Oh, that's hurtful. All
I
right.
got a question. I read an article this week. Is Patrick Lane in the doghouse in Columbus?
No, he's just on a cold streak. He's just not able to bury right now, but it's nothing that there was the whole thing where he got benched
Yeah.
like second game in. That was because he talked back to an assistant coach. So he got kind of, punished for that, which is totally fine. But beyond that, he's just been struggling. He just can't find his game, but it was the same thing in Winnipeg. He went on like a 20 game thing or something where it was no goals and he felt like he couldn't do anything right. So it's just, that's all. He just gets into these cold funks, which I think sucks for him, but it's something you have to work through,
I think with Line, he's been in the league long enough that that this is what you'll get with him every once in a while. He'll have a really bad goal streak, but
Mhm.
he's still his upside is worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
What
fair.
about these last two guys? Bobby Ryan, $1 million for 1 year.
Negative.
How's he doing in Detroit this year? What's his numbers at?
He was hot at the beginning. He's so far. Nothing.
I don't know. I would lean towards maybe, yeah. He's the best one out of what you've given us so far, but I don't know. For the sake of the bit, yeah, I'll take Bobby Ryan for
Okay.
$1 million.
Well,
he feels like a Vlasic or a Thornton from last year for the Sharks, where it's like he's a veteran past his prime, and he's still a big name, but
yeah.
what's he actually producing? I
Well,
don't
this
see him
guy
producing.
is definitely past his prime. Sam Gagne, 1 year, $850,000.
Is that really you're asking us that one right now?
He's
Clown question, bro.
he's really cheap. You guys are in cap hell. I'm doing you a favor here.
No.
Give me Eric Gagne.
How about we pay him and he doesn't play?
Traded me and his man.
How about we just do that? So
Well, that was it for me on those. I just wanted to see where you guys would stand on some of these names.
all right, it's fair questions. All right, let's shift gears a little bit because we have the Cohooney 5 we got to get to. Cahoon, I know
Actually,
last one.
hold on, one quick question.
Oh, okay.
Hey, so Jason, did you see that trade that which is kind of funny because this was here a quit it question. We all pretty much all said quit it, and it looks like we're hitting it. So that trade that the Niners made last week, what do you got? What's your thoughts?
I was getting to that, but okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Craig. We'll
We'll dive into that. Cahoon, just get your Cohooney 5. You did terrible last week. Let's just get to the 5 you got this
Oh,
week.
come on, man. You had to put that terrible in, didn't you?
Well,
I mean,
your parlay didn't hit, so
Yeah.
I guess.
Cohooney
Oh
5.
yeah, the parlay didn't hit last week. Stipe lost to Nagano, which Nagano, new heavyweight champion. I went 2 for 3 on UFC, so hopefully this week it's better. So my Cohooney 5 is going to be tomorrow for baseball. We're going to start out in Baltimore and Boston. I'm actually going to be taking Baltimore winning tomorrow with Josh Maines pitching. I actually really like Josh Maines. I think he's a solid candidate for a breakout season, and I do not like Nathan Eovaldi. I think Santander is going to take him deep. I think Baltimore is going to win tomorrow. They'll take 1 out of 3. The next will be the A's and the Astros. Jesus Luzardo will be pitching, will be toeing the rubber. Luzardo, AL Cy Young candidate. I think the A's will take the win tomorrow. Next up, we have the Giants versus Seattle. We have Kikuchi versus Cueto. I do not like Kikuchi. I do not think he's that good of a pitcher. And the Giants have a lot of righties that can take them deep. Between whether it's Solano, Flores. You're an asshole. Solano, Flores, or Longoria. Solano, Flores, or Longoria. One of those three will take Kikuchi deep, and the Giants will win tomorrow. Next up, we got Ben's Angels versus the White Sox. I'm taking the White Sox. I like Heaney, but he's a lot of strikeouts and a lot of hard contact, and there's a lot of righties when it comes to the White Sox, whether it's Moncada, Tim Anderson, or Jose Abreu. One of them will take him deep, and the White Sox will win. And the last one is Miami versus Tampa Bay. And I actually think Miami will win their one game out of the 3-game series. But Pablo Lopez will be on the mound tomorrow. Pablo Lopez, I think, is a really underrated pitcher, and I really do think he has a lot of solid stuff. I think he's the best pitcher that Miami has, and I think he will shut down the Tampa Bay bats tomorrow, and Miami will take their 1 game out of the 3-game series. So that's going to be my Cohooney 5. Ben, you're a jerk.
All right. Well, we'll go back. So that was a good question, though, that John did bring up. The Niners did make a pretty, I don't know if you would necessarily call it franchise-altering trade. I don't know how.
That's franchise-altering.
Franchise-altering? Okay. Well, hey, we're open for discussion. Jason, dive us in.
Yeah. 12 hours after our podcast ends, the Niners announced that they traded up for the 3rd pick in the NFL draft. They basically swapped picks in 2021. The Niners get the 3rd pick. Miami got the 12th pick, which actually traded that to Philadelphia for the 6th pick. Long story. But the Niners also traded their 2022 and 2023 first-round picks, along with a 3rd-round pick in 2023. My initial thought was Justin Fields, probably right off the jump. But then you hear everybody in the media, Mac Jones. And I'm just like, you don't trade all that capital for a guy you could have got at 12 or even 10 based on projections. If I just don't see it, I think it's Fields or Trey Lance.
Plus, if you make that trade too, you have to think the Niners know exactly who they want, right? They're not going to tell us, but you have to think if you're making that bold of a trade, you got to pretty much know who you want, right?
So,
right.
And this is okay. Go finish, Jay.
Trevor Lawrence is going to Jaguars, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And who's to say Robert Saleh didn't do Kyle Shanahan Saleh and give him a wink and be like, "Hey, this is who we're going to take." Possible, but you just don't trade all that for a guy that's projected to be a mid-round quarterback. It is a franchise-altering trade. This is going to define Kyle Shanahan. If this fails, he's probably going to be gone. I like him as a coach. I think he's really great. But he's got a lot riding on this quarterback. And where does that leave Jimmy G? I think they're playing the game where it's a poker game. They're not going to say, oh, he's up for auction. They're going to say, we want him. And hopefully somebody comes to the table with maybe a 2nd-round pick. If they're lucky, they get a first try. I don't see it. They're just playing poker right now. They can't hold on to him for a year and watch, and whoever they draft will wait behind Jimmy G. It's not unheard of. But we just have to wait and see. With the Niners, they re-signed Trent Williams to a big contract. So that's what this does is Jimmy's money's going to go away, and they're going to have a rookie quarterback on a cheap deal, so they can resign the Nick Bosa's, the Fred Warners, and have a solid defense and all-around team, and hopefully they can win a Super Bowl or two in that 5-year deal with the rookie quarterback, and then the money goes through the roof. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So I hope they take Fields because I feel Fields is the better quarterback, but everyone is just in love with Mac Jones right now. Same here. I do not like Alabama quarterbacks. I don't like them. Like I didn't like Tua. Yeah. But so Lawrence is going first overall. Trey Lance. It's like seems like it's all but confirmed because I feel like they're going to be moving Darnold the Jets to Carolina. That seems to be like what all the news is chatter is going right now. Something that I was looking at is everyone's really liking Mac Jones right now, and the reason why the Niners traded a 3 is because the Falcons were going to take Mac Jones at 4 and sit him behind Atlanta. So from what it sounds like the Niners jumped in front of Atlanta to take Mac Jones and sit him behind Jimmy G for a year or two. That's just, what do you think about that?
I'm not a Mac Jones fan, to perfectly honest. I rather them draft that tight end Pitts from Florida than
he's good
with Kittle than to draft Mac Jones. But you're not going to trade all that for a tight end. As good as he is, they're not going to do that. So they're drafting a quarterback. And I think a lot of it right now too is smokescreen. It's just, we like this guy, and you're right. The Jets may trade out of the number 2 pick for some other team, and they may.
I don't think the Jets are going to trade at all. I think they're going to move Darnold, and they're going to take Trey Lance. I think Saleh is in love with Lance, and we'll see what they do from there. But I would be shocked if they move out of 2 because I think the Jets have their hearts on Trey Lance.
I think it's Wilson. Zach Wilson from BYU. I think it's Wilson, but again, it's all smokescreen right now. We don't know for sure.
Obviously. Hey, and the draft it's
not that far
this
away.
month.
Yeah.
As crazy it is,
Yeah,
it's this month.
Yep.
That's nuts to think. Jeez.
Yeah. But that tight end Smiths, he's going to be really good. I'm trying to think. Cowboys coming out right now. I hope he drops a 10.
8-1. Got it.
Brother.
He's not falling past.
I don't think so
5.
either. I don't think so either. But that's just I'm hoping.
No.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of fun segment we got coming on. It's a would you rather segment. Ben, you're in control. You have the questions. I don't know them. We don't know what the questions are. We know that they're not all going to be sports related. So bear with us. This might, this is the chaos. This is it right here. So Ben, take it away. Let's hear what you got.
So I trimmed it down to 3 questions. And then so for future ones, I'll have 3 others. But you guys have to answer one or the other. You cannot say, kill me now. I'm done. Blah, blah, blah. You got to roll with it.
Just get to the
Kill me
questions.
now.
We know how this works.
Would you rather see the Astros win another World Series, beating the A's in the process, or the Anaheim Ducks win another Stanley Cup?
Good Lord.
Well, considering, go ahead, Craig.
I think man.
Start out strong, boys.
I would probably, I guess I'd choose the Ducks, sadly. Neither of those are good. But you're saying that if the Astros are going to do it, they're beating the A's. So I'm just in my head, I'm going to instantly think, okay, so you're telling me the A's and the Astros played in the ALCS. To me, that's like, oh my God, the A's, they made it to the ALCS. And now you're going to tell me that to watch them lose to the Astros in the ALCS after all this, and then that watch them win the World Series. Yeah, I'm not down for that. At least if the Ducks win, there's a potential. The Sharks are just so god awful. They're not even in it. So I guess I'm going to choose the Ducks, but move on to, I got to go turn this light on real quick. So I'll be right back, but continue on.
More difficulties.
I'm going to go with the Astros just for the one fact that you're a Ducks fan, and God, that would just be another title championship we have to hear you talk about all the time.
Oh,
Yeah, that is
I'm gonna
a big
go.
downside.
I'm gonna go with the Ducks because if my team's not winning, I want to see my friends happy. So I'm gonna go with the Ducks.
I like that.
What?
Run that guy.
Jason,
Yeah.
what a nice guy. That was a heartfelt sentiment right there.
You're
I
showing your
appreciate
age
that.
there, Jason.
Now, on to number 2. Would you rather have to sit in a locked room with no windows with Craig's fart for 1 hour, or
That's not the soundbite I expected you to do.
do a line of coke?
What?
Yeah, this is off the rails.
Yeah, this has gone way
This
off the rails.
is ridiculous. You
This
know,
is the last battle.
it's like this is the one rule would be to not ask some stupid question like that, and Ben does it anyways. So
Hey,
Yeah,
you
this is
gave,
a
him
no-
you gave him the right to do that.
this is a no-brainer. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sitting with my own farts. I don't care if they're the worst ones, even ones where I'm like, whoa, what's going on there? Sorry, I'm not doing the rest of that.
Yeah, I've handled Craig's
Sick.
farts.
You
I'll do it again.
sick man.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna. So I have to sit there with Craig's farts. Is Craig in there? Because
Yeah, it just keeps loading
Beat-
up for 1 hour.
I'll just beat his ass the whole time.
Oh, he's behind plexiglass. He's safe, but it funnels.
No,
through.
no, you didn't say that originally.
Well, skip it on to number 3. Would you rather?
Yes,
have
Craig. Yes,
seen-
you do.
Would you rather have seen Patrick Marlowe or Joe Thornton win a Stanley Cup in their careers?
It's Marlowe for me. I mean, I've always, like Joe Thornton, but I mean, I've always been more of a Marlowe fan than a Jumbo fan. Look, I Jumbo has more of a personality, that's for sure. I think Jumbo's made me laugh on more occasions than Marlowe has. But I mean, no, I'd love to see them both. But if I'm choosing one or the other, yeah, it's Marlowe for me. I have Marlowe jerseys. I don't have any Jumbo jerseys. It's Marlowe.
Okay.
These are the kind of would you rather's I expected. I'm gonna go with Marlowe as well. I mean, he's been a Shark throughout his whole life. Thornton started in Boston, so you can argue that he is a Shark, but you could argue that he's been in multiple places. While with Marlowe, started his career with the Shark, he's gonna end his career with the Shark. Like, it's gonna be Marlowe between the two.
I'm gonna say Joe Thornton scores 4 goals on a Game 7 Stanley Cup win. Just so we can, go back to the clip about Thomas Hertel back in the day when you can rock out with. Yeah, I'll go Joe Thornton.
All right. All right. Well, that was the hot take on those 3 would you rather.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably skip the one in the middle, but
Whatever.
It was a toss up.
anyways. All right. Well, as we're getting ready to wrap this show up, you know how we like to finish it out. We want to give out some shout outs to anybody with us listeners, just anyone else who's struggling during the pandemic or anything like that. Jason, I know you have a couple that you want to share, so let's just throw it over to you. What would you like to shout out?
I'd like to shout out. We dropped the ball last week. Where did we all meet?
Cloverleaf.
Right, Bowling Center. Rest in peace. A lot of my memories are there. So my shout out is to go visit your local bowling centers, specifically Dublin Bowl. Go visit Mike Hillman. Now Alameda's in the orange. I think they're opening their doors today.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Sorry. So go give them some business and keep the bowling lanes open because they're dropping like flies and we need to support them and keep them going. I got another shout out. Stanford women's basketball is in the Final Four and they're facing the number 1 seed South Carolina at 3 on Friday. Stanford women they're like clockwork. Every year they seem to be in the Final Four. It seems to be them and UConn, but good for them. Local team in the Final Four. My last shout out is something cool happened on Monday with the Warriors. They had a all-female radio broadcasting crew for the radio with Kate Scott from 95.7 The Game doing play-by-play. Mary Murphy was doing color. Kareth Baruch was doing pre, post, and half-game shows. And Tanika Smothers was doing production. So I thought that was pretty cool that the Warriors, especially in International Women's Month for March, let them do a game. And I think you'll be seeing a lot of that in the future. Very good to see. It's not easy to do. I mean, we're doing a podcast. I can't imagine doing play-by-play of a basketball game. It's, especially on radio, it's a tough job, and no, they knocked it out of the park. So really cool to see.
All right. Anything you guys got to add on? Any other shout outs?
Yeah, I got it's kind of a known Fremont thing as well. Market Broiler, definitely go back out there and give them some business. Their doors are back open now. They were kind of one of the last restaurants to kind of get the outside dining going, but now everything's outside, inside. So that's been one that I grew up on for a long time as well. So definitely go out there and give them some support during this time. And also another one, Bronco Billy's, just any of one of the 3 locations, go hit up that, get a slice, because you get your money's worth, and just keep that place going. All right.
All right, John.
I'm just gonna bring up. So Jason was talking about we lost in Fremont. We lost our bowling alley, and that was basically the last youth area for teenagers to go to. So the only one I can even think about that's local now is the pool hall in Newark. So I mean that's the last thing that we have left. So go check them out. Give them some business. Make sure that we don't lose everything.
All right. Yeah, I think the only thing I just want to add out in general is something that I don't think we've touched on yet, but I know we all would want to say, our thank yous to them. Is just all the frontline workers throughout this, year plus and everything. It's been crazy, and I can only imagine, how crazy it is for everyone that's been at the forefront of it all. And now we're going through this whole process of getting all these vaccines out, and I just imagine it's nuts. So just a special thank you to all of them for everything that they've gone through. And it's great work from them. And I don't think there's a way to give them, enough of a thank you, for all that they've been able to do and what they're going to continue to do. So it's great for them. So yeah, for sure. Thank you to all those frontline workers that have, been there since day one. They've been dealing with this every single day.
Yep.
Absolutely nuts. So, all right. Well, that's about a good wrap on episode 2 of Sports Bets, but mostly chaos. Fun show tonight, boys. I'm really excited to go watch the rest of the A's game. I know it's already underway. I don't know what the score is. I think it's 0-0.
4-0 Astros.
Okay, well, I know it's definitely not 4-0 Astros. But yeah, so we just want to say thank you very much for coming by and watching.
Oh, that was that's the score of the Angels game, right?
Probably.
It's 1-0 White Sox.
But yeah, I just want to say again, thank you so much for coming by. We really appreciate it. Again, reach out to us, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. It's at SBBMC_. I think it's POD. I think I said podcast last.
It's just pod.
Yeah, it's just pod. So my mistake on that one. But yeah, thanks again. Anything, reach out to us there. If you have any questions, anything you want to add, and you guys could be part of the shout out, let us know. You never know. You just might be featured on the show. The next time you're going to see us tomorrow night. I'm ready for this one. I'm so excited. We have our next episode of Jockverty. If you watched it, you already know our inaugural champion. It was basically a no contest with Jason.
Back to back tomorrow, kids.
He's going for it all. That's coming to your way tomorrow night, so be on the lookout. Will we have a new champion, or will Jason be going back to back? We shall see.
It's between me and Jason. John's still got to
see
figure
if
out
I can
how to
answer
questions.
questions.
What?
Yeah, it's a good question. All right, that's
This
all.
guy sucks.
That's for all from all of us. Thank you again so much, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everybody.